I'm Rose Rosen. I'm 5'3" on a good day. And fun fact about me is I cast Edward Scissorhands, and you're listening to How We Roll.
When it comes to working in entertainment, there's a lot of hows, and they all boil down to how we navigate this wild industry. While how we follow our dreams is uncertain, how we roll along the way is in our hands. Welcome to How We Roll, a podcast for actors by casting networks.
Rose, how are you, my friend?
Oh my God. This is the greatest podcast interview of all time. I am such a fan of yours.
Rose, and it hasn't even started.
No, I mean
I
your
love you.
energy. Come on. Come on.
You're so sweet.
No,
I feel the
seriously.
same about you.
No, but I
Come
love
on.
your energy. Stop it. Do you remember when we met up at the Artios in New York?
I do. Yes. And I immediately said, Rose is like a rose. You're blooming, you're blossoming. The sunshine is hitting you. You bring all the good vibes. And immediately that table was so much fun because of you.
Oh my God.
So
we had the
thanks for
best
being
time.
you.
But yeah.
We did.
Yeah. And we were fans of each other's before then.
I know. I love your videos. Everybody, we have Rose Rosen on the podcast today. As you know, please follow her on social media if you do not already. But we are going to talk all things the business of acting, or as much as we can within this time frame.
I mean, come on.
There's a lot, and Rose knows it all. But before we kind of dive into the topic specifically, Rose, I'm so curious because we've talked just as friends, but I'd love to know more about your time in Tampa. You're known as Florida's premier casting director. And it all started, I think, with Edward Scissorhands, which is, I mean, iconic. Can you just tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, yeah, I think I came down here. I like to say I was a mail order bride.
Oh,
my future husband
didn't
lived.
expect that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, no, he lived down here, and I was from St. Louis, and it seemed like the right thing to do. And so, yeah, this is a million years later and we're still together. And yeah. And after I came here, I was a stylist. I did all the things and I was an editorial. I came from writing fashion articles and producing them and finding talent and finding locations and doing makeup and hair and all, the wardrobe and the writing and all the things. And then I moved to advertising, and then I came to Tampa, and there was none of that here. It just didn't make any sense to anybody to hire me for that. So, I became a casting director.
Took a pivot. You said, I'll just do casting. I love that you've done all the things because you have a lot of knowledge, a beautiful brain for me to pick today. Again, before we get a little bit into the business here, I wonder, what is it about Tampa that makes it such a unique market? Because we might have people listening thinking, should I move to Tampa?
I mean, the big uniqueness when I first started was Florida was called Hollywood East, if you could believe that. We were number 3 in the movie business of locations. Yeah, but that's not true anymore. But what is true?
You still got Disney, which,
right,
ahead of the game for me.
Yeah, of course. But does that, for a while there was Nickelodeon shows, but there's a lot that kind of comes and goes, and the business changes as fast as we change our underwear. Let's face it.
It's pretty fast, especially if you're in a show backstage and you got a quick change.
But that's how fast our business changes, and people in this moment where the business is so obviously changing think that's new, and it's not. This is the same as it has been. We started out on VHS tapes, went to beta, went to DVDs and FTP sites and all the different things. So what we know is things change, but what is constant in Florida is commercials.
Wow.
And I like to say the commercials actually allow me to do movies because
Yes.
so I could do it all here, big fish, little town, it's always worked for me. That doesn't mean as an actor you should come here. I don't necessarily recommend that. But
Okay, that's great to know.
But
I appreciate that
if
honesty.
you
And I loved what you said about the business always changing.
right,
The only constant is the change. I think that's such an important reminder in these times where we think everything's changing so fast. It's like, well,
it
everything's
should.
always changing.
It
Yeah,
should. It should. And the and we're talking about the business, and the only way
we
to
are.
keep up with any business is to keep changing, keep up with the
Hmm.
changes. I mean, people that have the only people with my kind of longevity are malleable,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And actors, the same thing. If you listen to actors who have been around, they did not just pop out of nowhere. They were
No.
10, 15 years, 20 years in the making, working, 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 working. And
Yeah.
then one day you notice them, or I noticed them 5 years ago.
Mm.
And now
Yeah,
you
it's
see them.
an overnight success is really a 10-year-old success a
It
lot of the
real
time. It's
well,
like,
but that's what we're talking about. It's about the
yeah.
business, and the business is long. And
Mm.
the craft, you have to be engaged in your craft, and it should be just something you love.
Yeah.
It should also be something you love making money at. But
Well, true. I mean, if you're not having fun, what are you doing?
no,
And
exactly, exactly.
we're already here.
Uh-huh.
So let's break down these principles together. Our main topic today is creating 5 golden principles of the business of acting. Rose and I came together offline and we created 5 guidelines we think every actor, that means you listening, friend, not just for booking work, but for building a long, fulfilling career, should know and understand. So these aren't, the end all be all rules. We just made these up in this moment. We reserve the right to change our mind. But
Yes.
underneath each one, we'll hopefully come up with a lot of fun advice. So let's start with number 1, Rose. Drum roll. Brrr. I don't know if I should tap my mic. I'm like going to hurt people's ears. Okay. Number 1 here is you are a business. Treat yourself like one. So starting at the top, I think having the mindset of not just being an artist, but an artist entrepreneur, can I say that word, can be key. Rose, do you find it helpful when actors approach their careers this way?
1,000%. I mean, come on, you have to be a business. Here's the thing. So
Okay.
I remember one of my
Started out friends. Sorry, you know that song? I was
one of
really
my
good.
greatest assistants who turned she's a fantastic casting director in Toronto.
Heard.
And I remember the first email she sent me, what was her email handle, like hot babe 256 or something.
Oh, no.
And literally, and she tells this story when I call, when at any time, and she says, when she called, I said, so are you a stripper?
Well, because
Like,
that's the brand you kind of saw.
right, that's my
Yeah.
point. So, and she changed it immediately. Everything's fine now, don't worry. But but the point is, that's the thing. So it's like every little silly detail. I can tell so much about you from your email address. Trust me.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
most people put their birth date on the email. Not most, but plenty do. You
Yeah.
know, you know.
And then you can hack their, Wells Fargo bank account
Well,
and
but
no.
beyond that, it's just like now I know how old you are.
And
Right?
that's something nobody should be
I
asking you. So that's an important
You're giving
reminder.
me more information than you need to be giving me. So, yeah, so protect yeah, and show up in a professional manner, be it on Zoom, be it in person, be it in an email. Why are you emailing me? Are you badgering me to watch something? And I'm sorry to use the word badger, but people will send me again and again and again the same link and say, why aren't you
Hmm.
responding? And I'm like, because you're not my client.
You probably get thousands of emails a day.
So many
Yeah.
emails. I mean, every point of contact, right? Messages on Instagram, messages on Facebook. Like, what? You expect me to answer that? I don't mean, I'm nice, I swear.
Yes, Rose is very nice. Well, I guess while we're here, what comes through? What pierces through for you? What stands out as a professional email, a cold email specifically? Maybe one you're not expecting, but what's one you will answer?
Well, purposeful communication is key. And we all know that I'm very proud of my podcast.
Oh, yes, Casting Confidential. Tune in, like, subscribe.
Thank you.
It's so good. It's a treasure trove.
But it is good. And honestly, the reason I created it was so that I wouldn't have to answer the email, so that I could all in
Mm,
one fell swoop give you the information. I started out with that YouTube show with Kim Swanson, and then and it just became this podcast. And that's the thing. I don't want to answer the same question all day long. That bores me.
yeah.
So it's there for you. It's a library. It's free. That's what I want you to do. And then purposeful communication. Tell me you love my podcast. Go on there. And as you said, like, subscribe, review it, leave a
Yeah.
review. I look at every name that reviews the podcast.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
do. And, go on to my social media. Talk to me on the wall, comment on one of my posts. Tell me what you like about that episode. Don't tell me what you don't like. Maybe
No.
that's a message.
Well, Rose is one of the casting directors that's very active on social media. So you do engage with people on social media. You do build relationships with people. That's how we found each other, with social media.
do. Yes. I mean, there are some compelling accounts that grab me. Yours. I am
Oh,
I'm
shucks,
gonna
that's
have
sweet.
Danielle Pinnock on the show.
Oh, yes.
I know.
There you go.
And I'm sure you follow her. I mean, give me a break.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
compelling stuff. There's this one actress abroad, that's Chloe, and I can't get her name right. It starts with a Z. Uh, but
We'll
her
put it
handle
in
is an
post.
actress abroad, and I'm happy to say it out loud.
Yes. Yes. It's a great sort of brand. And actually, that brings up a big question I had for you, which is, so what does it really look like for an actor to treat themselves as a business? Branding comes into play there. And I know that can be a dirty word for some people, but I think of it as finding out what makes you unique and then letting that shine through sort of like everything you do. What's like your thing? What's sort of your log line? If you look at someone like Aubrey Plaza, it's like she has a thing. So what's your advice on kind of honing in on that?
I think actors think too much about that.
Okay.
I think putting yourself in any kind of a box is not my favorite. I want to put you in a box for that role. And I want to be open to the next role to put you in a different box. And so don't box yourself for me.
She doesn't need the gift wrap.
Yeah, I don't want that kind. Your branding should be clean, neat. I'm an actor. I look great. I'm proud of myself. I have a good presence, but I also like a non-specific.
Okay. I appreciate that, because we do hear a lot as actors from so many different people. It's such a subjective
Castability?
business.
What the hell is that word?
Yes.
That word makes me angry, actually.
Oh,
I mean,
let's
so
unpack that.
many, I don't know, some people out in the world use this word, castability. And somebody just came at me and said, well, what's my castability? I'm like, I've never used that word. And this is more than I've ever used it. But
You're like 45%. No, I don't know. I don't know
yeah,
what that means.
exactly. It's like, that's ridiculous. Everything is so specific about what we do. Each time we're casting you, it's are you right for that?
That's beautiful, because you think how we think as actors, which is that we can play anything and we want to imagine ourselves in any scenario. So I like that advice, that just kind of keep it authentic, keep it clean, be yourself, and don't stress out over putting yourself in one
Don't be
box.
making a big brand package. Don't be hiring a PR team when you don't have a project that you need a PR team for.
Okay, I gotta go. I gotta make some calls. No, I'm just kidding. But well, the one thing about a business is that most successful businesses are organized and proactive.
Yes.
So do you have advice for how actors can operate that way in general?
Okay, well, I love that. So, sure. I mean, make sure that your materials are all up to date, clean, neat, organized.
Mm.
Not too much, not too little. Like make sure, like get into your casting networks profile, get deep on there, and do it every 6 months. Make sure your headshots and all of your ancillary shots that, whatever you have in there represents
Mm.
who you are today.
Yes.
Yeah, everything should be within, you can get to that look within an hour. Somebody like you, I highly recommend. I want to see the different growths of your beard. I want you to have 4 or 5 shots of, well, this is, and know exactly how long it takes you to get there. This is 1 week. This is 2 weeks. Full beard is 1 month.
This
That's
is a
what
day.
you need to know, right? This is
Yeah.
scruffy. This is a day. 2 days, a little bit more. Like, and if you had snaps of all of those,
Mm.
you'd be surprised how tittillating that is.
Interesting. I've never heard that. No, I love that. I love to be titillating.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, because, like for commercials in particular, I always ask men if they're willing to shave, blah, blah, blah.
Mm.
But then the client will take it 2 steps further or 10 steps further. Well, okay, now I'm not looking for him to shave. I'm looking for him to grow a beard. How long would it take?
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah. I'm like a chia pet. Mine grows real fast. Rose,
But
I gotta chop it down really quick.
Chia?
Chia. Chia. Well, I wonder, that actually makes me curious. I've asked casting this before, and I'm sure you'll have a different answer because, again, everybody does. But you got to cling to the ones that speak to you the most, I think, in this business and that serve you. And I wonder, do people ever ask you what headshot, I guess, you connected with? If they're
Oh,
not submitting
yes,
themselves, do they say, oh, which look did you like for this role?
right.
So then they at least kind of know what to wear for the self-tape, if they should shave or not, that kind of thing.
I love that. The
Yeah.
chance of me being involved in between the self-tape and the, like choosing and the self-tape is pretty small, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm just going to ask for the self-tape. So you're going to have to make your own choice.
Yeah.
Between the self-tape and the callback, if we have a Zoom callback, there's more chance I want him to look like this, right?
Mm.
So yeah, I mean, let me tell you, just in general, a headshot, if you're connecting with the camera, if you're, the lighting, if I see you and if I see you looking at me,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you'd be surprised. I mean, I've always wanted to do this actually with
Like, cool.
casting networks, is like do like a video of like what we see for the actors, right?
Yeah.
I would love them to see this board of hundreds of thousands of faces and how that, then you can understand, because I think there's a disconnect, right?
Yeah.
To what actors think we do and what we actually do.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I talk.
Well, you're demystifying that. We're trying to do that
Right.
here as well with
Yes.
episodes like these.
Yes.
And I hope it's helping everybody listening.
It for sure is. It for sure is. I mean,
That's what we're here for.
Yes.
We're all here for each other. It's such a people business. And Rose, here we go. Our number 2 guideline here, our second
are we
principle.
only on
is-
2?
We're only on 2. I'm trying to guide the ship, and it's scary because I'm also a talker, and we
Oh
could
my
talk all day. I
God.
just think you're awesome. So
Back at
number
ya.
2, oh sweet. Number 2 is people first. Relationships
Oh my
over
God.
resumes. And when I learned this, I don't even know how many years ago, and obviously it's a practice because business things get in the way of your brain sometimes. But when I learned this, it totally changed the way I went into auditions. It's just seeing the people versus quote unquote casting on the other side of the table as a different entity. They're people. They're going to eat lunch on their break. They're breathing the same air as you. And so in this business, it's kind of like relationships are everything. And I've always found that just treating people as people, spoiler alert, is more fruitful and fun. So it makes me wonder for you, Rose, how do you think actors can make those real connections and not just quote unquote network? Because it's tricky, right? I mean, everybody feels differently, and sometimes you're authentic, but maybe it's not perceived that way. You can't control that. But what's your advice on sort of
I mean,
genuinely approaching
I
that?
think for me, it could only be organic. I am not friends with very many actors. I mean, it
Mm,
would be like taking your work home, and we do enough
yeah.
of that, right?
Yeah.
So I like to
Yeah.
have friends who are artists and businessmen and women and, like,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
accountants. I don't doesn't
Ice cream
matter.
shop owners. If anybody out there owns an ice cream shop, I want to be your friend.
Right,
Sorry, just sticking
exactly.
that in there.
No, I love an ice cream shop. Who doesn't? But
Yeah,
yeah,
I love candy, sugar.
yeah, I don't think I mean,
Well, let's say it's like a setting, like a live workshop or something that you do, a Q&A, and someone's just trying, like you're there and everybody knows you're there to connect.
so here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't agree with any of that. Like
Okay.
that feels like it goes down that pay to play crap, and
Yeah, I don't
that's
like
even
that.
if it's a free one, it's like say hi to me, whatever. I'm not giving you a job from this workshop. Anybody
Yeah.
who does anything, whether if you come, none of that. I
Mm,
don't do that, and it's a
yeah.
hard line. And yeah,
Well, that's key, I think, what you just brought up. It's that it's not about getting the job. So I actually heard a great piece of advice once, which was in business, never ask somebody for something the first time you meet them, which
right.
I never did or wanted to do. Maybe not even the second time. It's like if you're meeting someone more than 3 or however many times, and you don't even need to think about this that way, but just think about like you, like meeting someone in your life and then them saying, "Will you read my screenplay? Oh, will you watch my reel?" It's sort of like I don't even really know you and I don't have time to watch my sister's
Right.
reel. You know what I mean? So
Also,
it's
what am I
it's a
doing with
good
the
reminder.
screenplay? No,
I just meant in general in this business, but do people ask you to read their screenplays?
time, all the
Oh,
time. And it's like I'm not a producer. I am a casting director,
yeah.
you know, and a, a podcaster. It's just so silly. It's
Just kidding.
like,
Yeah.
what am
It's
I
sort of
going
like
to
know
do
your
with your
audience.
script? What I am, night time to read something. I don't know. I wish I could, but I don't, and they're all like, but don't you know people? And it's like, I have stuff in my head, like that I'd like to make into things, but it just doesn't happen. So what's the chance of
Mm.
me reading it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's like, who
Sort
has
of know your audience. Well, I guess speaking of knowing, when you watch a self-tape or you meet an actor, but is there a time you could share of when someone's sort of like professionalism or kindness or whatever it was stood out and you felt like you really wanted to just see them again or have call them in more? Maybe they weren't right for that job, but like what makes someone stand out to you in that way?
I mean, it's kindness. It's people like you. It's people like, no,
That's
but
sweet.
it is certain people. There's just something about certain actors, just the way I communicate with them, either through social media or through um, some emails or what have you, or through their reps. Even through their reps, I can cut through to whether or not we can, like, oh, I like them. I want to find something,
Yeah.
like we do file certain people like that away, but it could be
Mm.
years before the right thing comes through.
Yeah.
People
Hang in there,
always
everybody.
ask me, how do I get these? I mean, I get some pretty high level stars on this show.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, first of all, I'm a casting director, but second of all, I'm a human. And I,
Mm.
generally speaking, connect with these people on a human level, and then they're happy to come,
Yeah,
just like
because we're
you
all just
do.
human. Well, thank you. That's so sweet. Well, okay, what about somebody auditions for you? I wonder actually about this because I, as a person, always feel the need and want to send people thank you notes. I don't do that for every audition because I think it's annoying and nobody does that. But how do people follow up with you in this day and age? Speaking of the people of it all, is there a right or a wrong way?
Once again, I like comments out in the join the public conversation,
Hmm.
right? A casting is generally public on some nature, right? Of course, a lot of
Yeah.
it has NDAs and all that's not what I'm talking about. But if I'm putting it out to
Yeah.
actors, and there's a way to, comment on the podcast. Oh, I was just, like, I love this because it reminds me of whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I like the group conversation
Mm,
because I read it, which is your goal, but
yeah.
so does everybody else. And maybe the other people can also learn from it.
Mm,
So it's not just me saving time. I'm going to more likely read your comments on
yeah.
social, on the podcast, on all the things. But it's just,
It forms a community, which
right.
I think we should all be.
Yes.
And I like that approach. It's very unique. Nobody's really talked about that on this podcast before. We've had all different perspectives, but I think it's cool in the sense that we can also champion people. Like someone going to your post and saying, this post is great, or I loved your last episode, makes you happy. And I think we should do that for each other, even other actor friends. It's like, it matters, I think, in this day and age if you like someone's video because it's supporting like
And you
a
see
coming
it.
up entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
see all of that. And the community sees it. So we're all
Mm,
together in this and we're supporting each other, right?
yeah, that's what it's all about.
Right.
And you know what we need the most support for?
Hmm.
Auditions, Rose. And
Okay.
our third principle, we're on number 3,
Oh
everybody,
my God.
is auditioning is the job.
Well,
Auditions are the job. I mean, I think just getting an audition in 2025 is a big win
yeah.
with these stats.
Yeah.
So congratulations if you have one. For this one, I really want to get your advice, obviously overall on auditioning. So self-tapes, the gold standard these days. What for you separates a good one from what I guess in a sense of business savvy. So what separates a business savvy one from maybe one that's just you don't want to watch it or it's, you waste your time.
Nothing wastes
Sorry,
my
I'm dancing
time.
around it. There you go. There you go. Sorry.
No. Well, of course, a good one is one that follows all the directions to a T. To a
There we
T.
go.
Because
Yeah.
you can't imagine the time we spend putting together the breakdown, putting together your self-tape instructions, checking all these little boxes and making sure
Mhm.
that, if I want to see your hands, there's a reason. Good looking hands.
Oh, thank you. If you need a hand model, I do have a tan line from this
I'm
little ring
telling
here,
you.
but
Yeah. But we can do that with makeup. But
what what do people do, Rose? When I just had to do this, I actually was really fortunate to have auditions this week, and I had to
Mazel.
do one for a commercial with the close-ups, and it's it's a little joy that it brings me when I put my hands up to the screen and my face is behind it, and I do
Right.
like a little like gleeful smile. I'm kind of like laughing to myself.
Perfect.
What do people do when they do it? Like, has someone ever surprised you with their hand? Like they made you laugh? Are they like, here's my hand? Or do people just show you the hands? I guess don't make a bit of it.
I just want to see
I'm like,
I
here's
just
one
need to see
finger.
front and back of the hands and not like
This
what
little
I
piggy went to
did.
market. This little piggy.
I
No,
know, right? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff is once again, that's annoying actually.
There you
No
go.
offense. But yeah, just straight up like all that slate stuff, separate clip. Make
Hmm.
sure it's separate because I might want to put it in the back. I might want to put it in the front. Depends on the client, depends on the situation. So, but do it because all of that stuff is important. Every little thing that I'm telling you to do is important. Everything.
Hmm.
So do it all.
The
Don't.
file name too, right? I think a lot of people miss the file name, which I know drives some people
Oh my
a
God,
little
right?
crazy.
But the
Yeah.
software is pretty good now. So if you're using the software properly, the file name is not as important, but it does see this is why I want the actors to see what we do. So the file name comes out at the bottom there. So if you put slate and you put take 1, take 2 and your name, that's
Yeah.
helpful because
Yeah.
then I could just do and reorganize it and it's great.
Yeah.
And some of the casting directors won't do that. So great.
Yeah.
It's all one big mush, and that's fine too.
Yes.
But if
some do
they
that.
are separate, then I can use them separately. Same thing with your reels.
Mm.
I like little separate clips.
Well, Casting Networks has a great feature actually where on your resume, if you're looking at someone's credit, you can click play if they have a video of that credit right from their resume. It's a new feature.
I mean, come on, that's great.
How cool is that? Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to throw an ad in here, but
No,
it is. When I learned about that feature, I said, oh, better
I
update
mean,
my resume.
I have been using casting networks since it started. I'm positive
Mm,
of this. And I mean, I I remember them coming to my house, and because I've always been working out of the house, so it was,
yeah.
not a big leap for me. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I love the software. I just not too long ago, I think I tagged Casting Networks. I love the feature of your special skills, right? And you can
mm-hmm.
filter through that. And this is
Yep.
why I always tell you, be honest and fill all that stuff out. I was just looking for an organist and a certain age, a certain this, certain that. Boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom. I put it all in. Guess what? The agent didn't send that person in, and the agent had the breakdown. I went and found the person and said, "Here, give me this person." And that's who got it. Of
I'm
course.
glad you said that. Everybody, this is maybe the third time this has come up about being honest overall, but also with your special skills, because casting
Anything.
is
How
using that to
tall you
search.
are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care how tall you are, but the director is going to care if you're 5 foot and you put down 6 foot, and we put you against uh, uh,
Bigfoot. Yeah.
somebody who's it's complicated,
Yeah.
right? And
It is
it's a
complicated.
visual thing. We don't care. We don't hate that you're
Mm.
5 foot. We don't hate that you're 6 foot. We just want to know.
Thank you. That's so beautiful to hear. Everybody replay that. Put that on a bumper sticker.
We just want
Well, okay, here's what we just want to know as actors.
Yeah.
When we're auditioning consistently over this long career, hopefully, we were saying earlier about how it takes some people 10 years to even break through. I think of Jenna Fisher in The Office, who was, doing background work for a decade before she got that role. Melissa McCarthy's another one that comes to mind, who almost gave up and then she got Gilmore Girls. I mean, there's a million stories.
so many.
So when actors are consistently getting auditions but not booking, what's your business-minded advice for that? Should they sort of reassess? Is it just hanging on and going back to your craft? What do you think about
Well, I
that?
think two things. Be a business person, so have a way to make money.
Mm.
Whatever that is. If that's
Bringing it back to the business. I love that, Rose.
if it's Uber, I don't care what you're doing. Have a flexible job that you could still audition with. The great news is auditions you could do at midnight. So you
Mm.
could be a computer analyst or what have you and still be an actor. So
Yes.
have that. And then you want to definitely wait, where was I?
You could do your auditions at midnight. We're
Right.
talking about sort of like if you're auditioning a lot but not necessarily booking, like reassessing and
So if you're not booking, then keep working at your craft.
Mm.
It doesn't mean, I'm not saying that you're not booking because you're bad at your craft. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you're not booking because there are too many cooks that have to say yes in order for you to get that job.
Yeah.
So you can't focus on that. As you said, the audition is the job. So keep at it, and you could go to class. You could have a friend you work out with. I mean, why aren't all actors having, scene partners?
Yeah, like
Do
an
that
actor's
on a
gym.
regular basis. This is on your schedule every
Yeah.
week, however many times that you two get together on Zoom, in person, I don't care.
Mm.
And this is also your go-to reader.
There we go.
Right?
Which we need.
Right. So you have a friend, you have a reader, you have a way to work out your craft without spending thousands.
I love that so much because we don't want to spend thousands. We can't. We don't have it. Not yet, but we will one day.
I mean, if you
Just
want
manifesting
to,
that for
go
everybody.
ahead, but I just don't think it's needed. I think you
Yeah.
can learn from each other, and I think that's the best way.
Well, we touched on being a reader and we've talked about how it's a people business, but while we're in this audition principle before we move to number 4, which I promise we'll get there. I promise everybody one day, keep listening, keep hanging on. Keep holding on. So what? Okay, I need to calm down. There's a heat wave, everybody, so I'm getting unhinged a little bit.
God.
I'm always unhinged.
I love
Rose,
it.
what are your thoughts on these apps that we can use for self-tapes with that have built-in teleprompters, that have built-in readers. You know, the app can read with you and sense your voice. A lot of people use them, and a lot of people book with them. So I'm curious from a casting standpoint
Whatever
if
it
you notice
takes.
that.
I don't
Okay.
care. I don't know. If I notice that, then it's a problem.
Then it's a problem. Got you.
Right? I should only notice you. Whatever you're doing should not outshine your performance. So
Mm,
use whatever it takes. You should have, if you have a great teacher, if you have a great friend, if you have, use other humans. Let's
yeah.
use each other. Let's use each other up.
Mm,
Let's do
that's so
that,
sweet.
right?
This is we all these principles should just be called community, because you're such a community driven person, and I think that's special,
I mean,
especially in these times. We need to come
we
together.
don't have money.
Yeah, we are the arts.
we
It's
are
people
we are the arts. There's trouble in paradise.
right here in River City.
There's a lot of trouble. So
Yeah.
why not get together in community and work this stuff out? Just, I do it. I am a glass artist and I go in community once a week and make my art.
I love that. Can you please send us pictures of those and we can share them with this episode, because I now want to buy. Yeah, I want to buy a glass piece. I love that so much. I'm going to picture you blowing the glass.
So terrible at self-promotion of the glass, but yes, I will send you.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're just doing it for fun.
Right.
And ultimately, again, we're talking about the business of acting, but I do want to remind everybody that this shouldn't overshadow at all your love for it, because that comes first. And if you want to have longevity, which is our fourth principle here, you're going to need to follow the fun. So let's move to number 4. Longevity requires mental and emotional resilience.
I mean, it's literally everything we've already talked about.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have
We got here
longevity,
naturally.
you have to have the community to lift up your spirits, to work your craft out with, to talk about the business, talk about how we're going to make money tomorrow, talk about, like you cannot sit here and think that you're going to be an actor and it just happens. You need your community. You need the other thing I do this every day too. Get out and put my feet onto the ground. I walk outside even if it's 110 degrees, which it is.
Oh,
and
here today too.
I walk outside in community, talk out the day, complain.
And you get by with a little bit of help from your friends. I think that's amazing. I have to take a walk every day, otherwise I don't feel like a human as well.
Right. That's the thing. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I used to like listen on headsets, but now I like people. Like people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's science that actually shows that walking or exercising with somebody else improves your mental well-being. I mean, it's literally science. So I think that's great advice. And even if you're doing a self-tape,
40, oh.
Yeah. If you're spiraling a little bit, change the energy. Go for a walk, come back. This makes me wonder, do you have any do you have any other advice for like tangible tools actors can use to kind of keep that, mindset going in this long game? Because we need a lot of tools. I mean, walking's one for me. Mantras, affirmations. What have you seen to be successful for people?
Hydrate, breathe, journal.
Let's hydrate right now.
You got to journal. You got to write your stuff down. You could write down, I don't care what you're writing, but I love gratitude. I love to write down, 3 things I'm happy for at the beginning of the day, the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't care. Write down your goals. Write down what your life's going to look like in 10 years. You'd be surprised how accurate you are.
Wow. And it's the specificity of it too. I think not just I want to be an actor, but I want a co-star role on this network show or whatever it is. I think that helps.
My entire career is built on me writing down goals.
Well, Jim Carrey, wasn't necessarily a goal. Well, I guess it was, but he filled out a check for $10 million or something and put it on his refrigerator. And I think there's something to just seeing that, the action of doing it, like you're saying, to really get you on track. Yeah, totally. I love that. Well, I feel like I listened to so many interviews where actors say they were about to kind of like throw in the towel, and we've talked about that here a bit today. Is there a moment in your own career where you feel like resilience really played a big role for you in casting?
Sure. Um, Pretty much constantly. But but like for instance, when I did Scissorhands was at the very beginning of my career,
Mm.
and I was pregnant the entire time we were shooting, and you know, this was local casting. I was on set every day and in the 110 degrees. Um,
Oh my
and,
gosh. In that community, that kind of picture perfect world, Tim Burton world. Yeah.
but yeah, and an interesting fact, I did not tell them I was pregnant when I interviewed because they would have
Mm.
never given it to me.
Yeah.
But I
That's
did a banner
unfortunate.
job. It was all fine. And then I had a baby. And so then that's where the resilience kicks in. I had a baby and my career was skyrocketing. I remember reporters coming to me as I'm breastfeeding.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, because you can't stop either one,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You have to, I had to make all of it work.
Mm.
And I feel like I continued that every single day, right? You have to plug
You don't
in.
just make it work. You're
You
working.
gotta make it
You're a
work.
star,
I
Rose.
mean, you do the same thing.
Oh, you're
It's like
sweet.
whatever it is. If you're waking up and you're on vacation, you better make that work too, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
terrible at that. Terrible.
Yeah. And the communication aspect, like you mentioned before, comes into play there too, because you can just say, listen, I'm on vacation. I got to record this voiceover audition in a closet on my phone and I'll try and clean it up. But like,
Figure it out.
if you didn't bring your mic, whatever it is, just communicate that. Try it. Some people will be more lenient than you know.
I have booked out of a bathroom stall in an airport. I mean,
That's the pull quote. I have booked out of a bathroom stall in an airport. There we go. Bye. We're done. That's
I
amazing.
mean, literally, you guys think so hard about making it perfect for us. And if you go in and start editing and using special effects, I'm gonna wring your neck.
Oh my
Don't
goodness. I
do
do know.
that. No
Yeah.
wipes, no swipes, no fades.
Well, some
No.
people I think will even fall down the rabbit hole of, I've heard of
They write their name on there.
recording, like having a take they like and then re-recording over it different inflections of the voice, like lip syncing their own voice. I think we put so much pressure on
Oh
ourselves,
no.
to really make it be perfect. But if we wanted perfect, quote unquote, we would all just use AI, which isn't even perfect, but I assume it'll be technically perfect one day. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the human. We want that like little weird glimmer and the thing that you didn't even think was going to happen in the moment to happen. You said you love being surprised in auditions,
I do.
We want the
I
surprise.
want the surprise, whatever that is. I mean, the last episode I did of my podcast, I messed up the first name. The last name I was perfect on, and I left it in.
Yeah.
Like,
Because nobody wants to listen to somebody that thinks they know everything, And
I'm
it's
sure
it's
I
hard.
don't know everything.
I think none of us know anything, but together we know everything when we come
I
together as a
love that.
community,
That's what I
which,
think is the truth here. And I think
yeah.
that's all that we've talked about is
Mm,
we don't independently. We're not little islands that can figure out everything, but together we can begin to figure it out. And that's
yeah.
honestly that's why I started Casting Confidential. It was because I would sit on my own and do castings for
Yeah.
decades and
Mm,
had to figure out everything about my business. A client would come to me and say, "Can you do this?" Whatever it was, I'd say yes, and it would be done overnight and FedEx to them in the morning. And but now I have this amazing community of casting directors because our business is complicated.
yes.
It is really, really crazy and complicated. It's not
Mm,
just about the audition, it's about bringing in the work
yeah.
and bringing in the work that is going to be appropriate for us to
Mm,
hire actors. I'm not going to hire you guys onto some crappy little project that is not right. I can hire you onto something that I think will go nowhere, but if the pay is good, the situation is good, that's fine. We're all
Yeah.
working. We're all doing a little bit. We're having some art. I could put
Yeah.
you on a student film. Nothing wrong with that. Just
Yeah.
I'm going to
Get
talk to
that
the student
footage.
and say you're going to give them some food and you're going to give them some water.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
you're
At
gonna you're
least we.
gonna treat them right. Yeah, whether or
Yeah.
not the pay is something, but it's also these little things to take care of the humans that I am putting out in the world, right? I feel like that's part of my deal. And
It's
you
like the mama bear approach.
right. And I don't
Yeah.
know how many people realize also, like casting, we're making offers. It is not, it's us. It's us doing all that stuff, figuring it out,
Yeah.
um, helping them to spend their budgets appropriately.
Mm.
It's a lot. It's a lot more than just what happens between us in the audition room. That's
Yeah, that's probably
important.
like 30-ish% I've heard casting say is the audition.
Maybe
I mean, you're
less.
doing maybe less. You're doing a lot more than that day to day.
Right. And it depends on, most of us don't have staff anymore.
Yeah, or if you do, it's such a small office and you're
Very
probably just
small.
talking to each other all day from what I hear.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that,
Community is where it's at.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, where it's also at is number 5. We made it, Rose. We're on our last principle, and I think we've touched on it a bit, but I do think it's an important one to always hone back to. Stay curious.
Oh my God. This is my
I think in
favorite.
life,
Yes.
it's my favorite too.
Yes. Did you read Brian Grazer's book about curiosity? It's 2 books. You must read them
No, but
both.
please. Okay,
You must
this is
read
going to
them
give me
both.
some homework.
Yeah.
What are they called? Do we remember?
Something about curiosity. But
I'm curious.
But he built his entire career. This is Ron Howard's co-producer, right?
Mm,
So he built his entire career on asking for curiosity conversations with whoever he wanted to talk about. And he just talked for, and they'd let him into the office and they'd talk for an hour. And that didn't necessarily yield jobs.
yeah.
And maybe it did sometimes.
Yeah.
But it gave, he built his thinking through other people's thinking and to have a curiosity conversation, which is not unlike what we're doing at this moment, right?
Yeah, that's why I love this job.
Exactly. We're curious people. And we want to find out what makes you tick. What's going on in there?
I couldn't even say job. I stumbled over it because it just is so fun for me.
Right. No, exactly. You're interested in humans and you're interested in the business. You're also interested in the ice cream guy.
I am. You remember that, Rose. Flag that away. I got a big sweet tooth. I think because I just did a scene where I had to talk about an ice cream shop. It's on the top of my mind.
Oh my God, we're going to have to get you some
We're gonna have to get you some sugar. I'm a big believer. This is my 6th principle here. Have dessert every day. Unless you're a diabetic, but whatever that means to you, Sorry. Don't do it if you can't. But that could just be a treat.
Metaphorically speaking, have dessert every day.
Yes, have a treat every day.
Because the word dessert just connotates treat. It doesn't have to be food. It could be the walk. That
it could be
your dessert. I know it doesn't sound right.
No, I love this. I think it kind of harks back to the staying curious principle, because for me, having a treat as an actor could be, watching the new Netflix show that day or treating yourself to a class. It's also important in the journey for staying curious. And it's funny we're ending with this. We talked about it a bit, but can we just talk about the importance of, I guess, continuing training, even if you are booking all the time?
I mean,
because you talk to a lot of bigwigs that
they do it.
Are still in acting class.
Yes. And I also believe do what makes you tick also, right? There are some bigwigs that go constantly to class and some that do not so much. And if you're successful, you're successful.
Yeah.
I mean,
and this could be, I will say, not that Not because of me, but this, because of you, could be a class for somebody right now. Listening to something
Sure.
like this or Casting Confidential,
Yeah.
that is
Free.
learning, and
Free.
that is free.
Yeah. No, I mean, seek out information. Be curious.
Mm,
Take whatever information that is and use it toward making your scenes better. And that could be in a class. It could be going to the library and watching people. It could be walking down the street and watching people. I think that's how you get to be a better actor, is
yeah.
observing humans, because you are creating them, and they shouldn't be just you, right? There should be
Mm,
glimmers of all these people that you've seen and talk with through your life, and that's what makes your reads more rich.
mm. Did you study acting? Because I feel like you have such an actor's brain.
Not a lick. I mean, listen, this is more than I've ever cared to or been on camera, is since all of this podcast stuff and
Yeah, and the social
this
media
whole
and
thing. Yeah, I know. And like, what is happening? I literally, I have no idea what I'm doing.
well, listen, I think none of us do, but we fake it till we make it, whatever making it is. And speaking of making it, you're making a lot of content. What about the actors who create their own content? What are your thoughts there? Do you think actors out there should be sort of, if it brings them joy,
I mean,
making things in their downtime?
yes. Why wouldn't you? I mean, literally, that's just like any of the other workouts we just talked about. It's
Yeah,
all a workout. It's all,
yeah,
you could do a scene and put it on, I don't recommend doing copywritten scees, but you could write a scene and put it on your, whatever, YouTube, Instagram, I don't care, TikTok.
yeah,
Yeah, show your creativity. Even if I never see it, that doesn't matter. You should be doing that to work out. If you get a million
yeah,
followers because you're working out your acting chops, God bless. That's wonderful. That
yeah, yeah. Hey,
but
people will take it.
just do it for fun. Let me also put a tiny caveat in. Let's also remember that we are a business, right?
Whatever kind of floats your boat and makes you happy, but no people are watching. And if you want to reach a certain goal, I think social media is a great way to have a map, because you can use social media to fulfill yourself and do things that bring you joy and lead you to a place. I see people all the time,
Use a
especially
different
in
name.
use a different
Make
name.
it
You can
private.
have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your overall advice on actors and social media? Because we've asked a lot of casting folks this, and everybody has a different opinion. You seem like someone who's for it.
Oh, absolutely. I think it doesn't matter. I think, once again, do what makes you happy. Don't do a whole lot of obscene stuff on there, whatever that is. Keep it
Lose the do a scene. Sorry.
keep it professional. If your goal is professional, keep it professional. I do speak with a lot of actors on social media, actually. You know, um, so you just never know who's going to slide into your DMs. Um,
You
but
don't.
yeah,
Hopefully, an ice cream shop owner for me
I
after
mean,
this
right?
episode.
Yeah. Let's not forget about my raffle. Can we talk about the raffle?
Oh, yeah. Bring it up as we come to a close here. I only have a few more things, but
I
please tell
mean,
everybody
I
about
only
this
have a
raffle.
couple left this season, but we'll do it again next season. The greatest show closing ever. We have a random actor. I do a spin the wheel on the Instagram and put in, but you have to like, rate, review, follow. You got to do a lot of things in order to get in. So the numbers get smaller and smaller. But so this is what you get. You get
Tell
to
us,
come
what
on
did we
the
get?
this is what you get. You get to come on the show at the end and do a scene against the celebrity that I have on the show, whoever that is, and you're doing the scene and everything's groovy, and then we give you feedback, all
Hmm.
of us, me, another casting director, and the celebrity all give feedback,
Yeah.
and you get to do it again.
Wow. How cool is
I
that?
mean, I don't know. I this season we just really went crazy in terms of
I love
amping
that.
up the podcast, and people are loving it. And
Yeah, because you have a live audience, I believe you
we
record in
do.
front of. So you have a lot of good energy. I would probably like shoot through the ceiling with a live audience. I'd be like, hello, everybody, welcome.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm already
I
too excited.
literally cover them up, like, because I'm
Oh,
just on right, because I can't know what's happening over there. I have to focus on what's happening on my little screen. It's
but I love
a
that
lot
because
for me.
again, it's a testament to you're a community creator. Let's say that Rose Rosen community creator.
I like that. That's all I want, honestly. For some reason, I build communities. And I love that. I love when people are together in, like figuring this thing out, the acting, the life, the whatever. I like it to be together, not just I'm sitting here thinking about stuff on my own. It feels so solo, you know. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
it's
can
good to
feel
be
so
alone. Don't
insular.
get me wrong. I love to be alone.
Everybody needs a low time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think working things out, community is helpful.
Yeah. And it helps you all too, because within your community, you're gonna have actors that know sort of what you like in an audition, what you like in the business of acting, and they can all talk to each other and help each other. And
All the tools.
it's a
Moms have
win-win for everybody.
community, dads have community. Like everybody does groups. So
Yeah.
actors should too. And casting directors.
Maybe I'll start a little Facebook group after this. What do we think,
Good.
people?
You should.
Just to connect and have fun and share, videos of Meryl Streep talking, because what else do we want to
Oh
see in
my
these
God.
actor
And that's
groups?
all you need is more on your plate.
I know.
That's the, I don't know what number one, 7 or 8 at this point. But that's the thing. Don't put more on your plate than you can eat. Don't. Don't do it. Just
Yeah,
no is a complete sentence. And
I love that.
you need to fill your plate just to where you're full. And that is abundance. Right there.
That was
That's
beautiful.
abundance.
So Jane Fonda always says, no is a complete sentence. And then you just gave me a beautiful card that I'm gonna look at every day and hang up on my wall. I think that was a wonderful way to kind of wind down here. And I will say, I was thinking about that this week. When it rains, it pours. I am. I don't even want to say this because I know it's hard to get an audition right now. I had 8 this week, which is rare.
8.
It's rare. It's
Wait,
rare in these times,
stop
but when
it.
it rains, it pours. All different kinds, musical theater, commercial, and I felt so lucky. But at the same time, that's a lot for
That's a
for
lot.
you. It's a lot for a
It's a
person that
lot
wants
to
to do a good
do,
job. Yeah.
but it all takes everything out of you.
I think too, because we all have, we have day jobs, family members, lives. Some of us are in a show or on a show when we get the auditions, and you want to put so much into it that 8 can seem like impossible. You're like, I want to memorize all of them. I want to find specific beats in all of them, do multiple takes. But sometimes, to your point with the plates, you just gotta, if you have a lot of plates, just pour the servings on. You're gonna naturally like shine through as sort of with your own magical sauce, and what will stick will stick. Because I think we put a little bit too much pressure on ourselves
Right.
sometimes. It is an audition at the end of the day. It's not like you said. They're not looking for the perfect take.
And if
Otherwise,
you
they'll
don't
just,
do it well, we don't care.
oh, I love that.
Wait, I mean, you probably won't get that one if you didn't do it well. But it's
But
not like
sometimes you can tell.
I'm gonna say, oh, he didn't do that one well. I'm never never bringing him in again. That's ridiculous. I brought you in for a reason. You had a good resume, you had a good look, you had something. And I'll do that again. Everybody has a good day, a bad day, a good audition, a bad audition. None of that matters. And plus two, there's so many levels of what is a good audition and what's going to book.
Yeah.
It's anybody's guess. So just
Yeah.
do it. Just do it. Do the best you
Nike.
can with the given
Yeah.
circumstances. And those
Yeah.
given circumstances are timing, and don't ask for a bunch of extensions. That kind of stuff
Does it
sticks with me.
That's a nice, well, this is nice. Like I get once in a while people need them, but this brings up a question I have for you, which is, I mean, as if I haven't had other questions for you. I'm like, a question I have for you now, Rose. Why, what do the actors that submit first and right away kind of have a leg up. So if I get an audition and I submit like that day versus waiting the whole week, does that kind of subconsciously, like the person sticks in your mind? Does it give them a leg up to you?
It doesn't in that they stick in my mind. It doesn't. But I have had clients book before the window is even closed.
Because you get excited about a person, you send it,
because
and then
they're up against the wall. This is generally speaking commercials, or if
Okay.
I'm replacing somebody, you know, like we're,
Yeah.
you know, and we have to give a certain window, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't have it.
I just had like a
And I
24-hour
give,
rush one.
right. And I'll give the client a live link so they see what they see.
There you go.
Right.
And
I
if they see
don't
someone
like,
that's great for it,
right. And
they're
then
just going to say, go, we
then
got
it's
it
like
done.
we're done, and I could go and find my locations, get my wardrobe. I need to get this gal dressed.
Yeah.
I need to no, but it's
Yeah.
in order to get her dressed, they need to have her sizes. If they don't have her cast, they don't have her sizes.
You're so right.
So it's all of the things. It's not just about it's not just about the one. It's not just about you. It's not just about me. It is about the project. And that's what we all need to, you know, really understand.
Yeah.
Everybody's working so hard. It's such a big collaborative industry. I mean, a shoot is a community, right? Be it a one-day
And it's
shoot
storytelling
or,
at the end of the day. It's that project, like you said, that we're focusing on.
Yeah. Where, you know, you're not showing up and just, you know, this is all about you. It is certainly not.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care if you're the top of the call sheet. I do not care. The people who are at the top of the call sheet never think of it as about them. The best ones.
Think about it even in life with family members or friends, the people that walk into the room and make it all about them. Do you want to really hang out with them? Not usually, honestly, because there's no room for anybody else to shine. And I think that's a wonderful reminder. I also love this because you could be the quote unquote perfect person for the job, but there's somebody else that's good for it. And if they send it in right away and they see that, the train's going to keep moving, and you might have missed out on something that was perfect for you. So I'm glad you answered that, because it does stick in my brain as, okay, the fastest you can get it in, the better. For the most part with commercials, I think.
Generally say done is better than perfect.
I like that too. You're dropping gems, Rose. And I need you to drop 2 more gems.
Okay.
Because our time is ending together like we always do, with a got and a given. So I would love the best piece of advice you've gotten and the best piece of advice you've given in this industry. So we could start with the got. What do you think the best you've gotten overall is?
I think from Anthony Michael Hall.
Oh, we have a quote. I love it. I love we can attribute it.
He was on Scissorhands, and we talked a lot, and he was just coming back up from a bad spell, if you will. And, and he said, and I've heard many people say this since then, but you meet the same people on the way up as you do on the way down. Be nice to all of them. Right?
You know, I love that. Be kind.
Yeah. Be kind.
That's beautiful.
Be, you know, like the PAs, you know, like the PAs are next year's directors. You know, what was it? Some big movie just hired a 19-year-old to direct the movie.
That's wild. No, that's beautiful, because in life, I would love if we can't always be our best selves. You know, everybody has bad days, but try to lead with kindness, because it's actually good for you too. It comes back to you. It's good for your well-being. And don't be kind to somebody just because you think they could get you something. Be kind because it will make them feel good and it will make you feel good.
Right. And
then you'll be in a better mindset.
Both.
There we go. The business starts and ends with kindness. And this episode ends with a given. What is the best piece of advice you have to give to today's acting community, Rose?
I mean, it's really back to the beginning. Always be honest. Always. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, the truth will set you free.
I love that. I might put an echo effect on you saying that.
That's so
the truth
funny.
will set you free. That's so great.
I mean, my favorite piece of advice is live each day as if it's your last, because we don't know.
That's beautiful advice in general. And I think actually it is going to reframe self-tapes for me a bit, because film your self-tape as if it's the last one that you'll ever film.
That's it. So it translates to actors. You just don't
Yeah.
know. I like to tidy things up with people. You don't like to leave things in a negative space when I leave
Yeah.
them. I want to sweep the floor. You know?
Sweep the floor. There's another good one. Is there going to be a Rose Rosen, little calendar that we can rip off with quotes? Because I would buy it.
Well, let's just do that then.
Let's do it. Every other page one can be you. The next page can be me just
I'm
giving my
telling
number,
you,
telling people to send me ice
I
cream.
think we're onto something here. And we
I
can
think so
get
too.
Breyers, hello Breyers, to
Or Ben and
sponsor
Jerry's.
us. Ben and
Oh,
Jerry's. Ben and Jerry's are really nice people, actually.
I know.
Yeah, and they're very philanthropic. So
I want to write a biopic about them. Will you read my script, Rose? No, I'm just kidding.
oh my God, right? They're the coolest guys, though, seriously. But yeah, let's get them as sponsors and make this calendar. And
I love it. I love that so much. You heard it here first, everybody.
That's it.
I went to the factory, the Ben and Jerry's factory. Best day of my life. Highly recommend it in Vermont. It's magical. Smells good. Got a t-shirt. But this was also so magical, Rose. Thank you so much for being a guest on How We Roll. I just think you are such a smart, lovely, and inspiring person, and I appreciate all you do for actors. You give actors so many free resources, and we really need more people like you. So thanks for being you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. I loved being here with you and spending this time with you. It's always a joy to see you.
Oh, it's so nice we had this time together, to quote Carol Burnett.
I mean, the greatest.
The greatest of all time.
Yeah.